All right, what's up, guys? Another edition of the Cockpit Chronicles coming to you from the road, traveling border to border, leaving the Gallatin Valley this morning on our way north to Bozeman, also known as Bos Angeles, also known as Bozo Town. I don't know if anybody calls it Bozo Town but me, but uh, the last time I was there 2 years ago, a lot of bozos, and they were pretty much all from other places. So yeah, maybe I'm being a little judgy. However, that downtown area in Bozeman had a lot of tourists. It really wasn't my gig. So we're giving it another chance today, and we got stuff to do. We got Sunday routine. I'm going to tell you about Sunday routine. I know that in the last episode I told you how I was going to tell you how I came to choose Amelia as my full-time travel rig. I'll tell you that in the next one. For now, Sunday routine. Sunday routine, like my life in this rig largely revolves around water. This rig has 3 tanks on it. The first is a freshwater tank that holds 105 gallons. The second is a gray waste tank that holds 65. I'll explain what that is. I'll explain it right now. The gray waste tank holds everything that goes down the drains. So everything that goes down the sink, down the washer, the clothes washer, the dishwasher. Yes, I do have a washer, a dryer, a dishwasher. Um, Everything that goes down a drain, other than the toilet, goes into that 65-gallon gray tank. And I just pulled out on the highway. And when I do that, I accelerate slowly, and I like to let cars pass. This guy is going for it. Good. And I also like to leave them enough room, like right there. I'll roll in footage so they can get their pass done before the no passing zone starts. Anyway, so 65-gallon gray tank that holds everything that goes down the drains, and then a 45-gallon black tank that is for the toilets. And there are 2 toilets in this rig. So what I mean by life revolving around water is I boondock or dry camp with no hookups almost exclusively. I am plugged into power, water, and sewer hookups maybe 2 or 3% of the time. 2 or 3% of the nights that I spend out are spent plugged in. All of the rest of the nights are out, self-sustained, boondocking, no hookups, no neighbors, uh, and I've got a 10,000 watt diesel generator to support that, as well as 1,300 watts of solar on the roof. So I'm set for power, but the water is in somewhat limited supply. Now, I did an experiment a couple of years ago when I was recording my audiobook, Flame and Fortune, How the Fire Service Almost Killed Me by Rick Booker, at a place called Henry's Lake down in Idaho. And I actually stretched my freshwater supply 19 days. And that was taking a quick shower every night. So I wasn't, I was rationing water, but I wasn't really suffering at all. I didn't do any laundry. I think I ran the dishwasher once. So I took measures to conserve water. We can live comfortably in this thing for 5 to 7 days and not worry too much about our water. We take quick showers, hold off on the laundry as much as possible, and then I do something called Sunday routine. I used to always do this on Sundays, but it's kind of complicated now, especially if the water supply is only lasting 5 days. Then it doesn't line up perfectly on a Sunday. But I still call it Sunday routine. And what that is I use a couple of apps. I find a dump station, I find a place to get fresh water, and I go and I dump and I fill. Now, I dump first, and then I usually fill in 105 gallons of fresh water that's going through 3 filters and a water softener. It takes a while, depending on water pressure at the spigot. You know, if I've got a good like 40 psi at the spigot, I can fill this tank in around about 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes. So it takes a little while. So a lot of times I'll hook the water up and get that filling first, and then I'll dump the tanks. For all you RVers out there, I can dump my tanks, like pull up, pull the brake, and then time stops when you close the compartment and everything's wrapped up, 5 minutes. If it's taken people longer than 5 minutes to dump their waste tanks, they're probably maybe just a little inexperienced with it, because it can be a complicated procedure, especially with certain bumper pull or fifth wheel RVs that don't have some of the features that I've got. I've got macerating toilets, and what those do is it's like a food processor, like way after the fact. But when you flush the toilet, there are blades that macerate everything that goes down the toilet. So consequently, I don't really have to use a ton of water to flush the waste tank when I dump it. That's the beauty of having this type of a setup. Most RVs don't have that, so it does take them a little bit longer, because they've got to actually fill their black tank with water in order to flush it and get everything out of it. So that's a pain for most RVers, and it's a pleasure and a luxury for me, because dumping and filling is really simple with this rig. So Sunday routine, I dump, I fill, I start laundry. When I'm doing a lot of laundry, that means like 4, possibly 5, up to 5 loads of laundry, especially in the winter if I'm wearing a lot of outerwear and insulating layers. You got a lot of clothes. Yeah, I mean, I could wind up doing 5 loads of laundry, and that's around about 5 hours parked somewhere. Now I can do those 5 loads of laundry. I can run the dishwasher. I can take a nice shower, all on 1 tank of water. When that process is done, I will go back to the dump station, dump again, fill again, and then I'm set. And then I'm set for a week. So full tank of water, empty gray, empty black. I know that I can boondock again for a week. So that largely covers Sunday routine. The other part of it that I didn't tell you about is that's my cleaning day too. So while laundry is going, while some dishes are running, that's when I clean the rig. So I've got a central vacuum system. God, I can't imagine what you guys are thinking right now. Yes, what? Because I'm thinking it. I've got a central vac system, and I don't like to dust. I vacuum instead, because I feel like when I dust in this thing, for some reason it's a very, very fine dust, and it just stirs everything up, and doesn't really work. So I put the little brush attachment on, and I vacuum everything. I vacuum the floor, and then I'll mop the floor. And by mop, I mean a couple of microfiber towels with hot water and a little bit of soap. I'll wipe the floor down. Boom, done. I can do that in like an hour. So there you go. There's Sunday routine. You've got a Sunday routine. If you're an RVer, you got a Sunday routine that you like to do. Share it. Post it in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and follow. Click the thumbs up. It really helps. Tune in to the next episode of the Cockpit Chronicles, where I'll tell you how I chose this rig. Happy trails.